Falsely accused of killing my husband, I was thrown out with my kids and forced to survive on the streets. 13 years later, my return shocks the family. The rain poured that night as though the sky itself had been pierced open by grief. In our small compound in Enugu, water trickled through the rusted roof of our two-room house, drumming quietly onto the floor. I had just bathed the children, Nena, barely 1 year old, and Ikenna, only 6, when the knock came. It was sharp and urgent, the kind of knock that tells you something inside your soul is about to break. 2 neighbors stood outside, eyes low, faces tight. Chica. Obinna has been found. Behind the cassava shed. My knees buckled. I remember the screaming. Not just mine. My mother-in-law's. Neighbors. My children wailing in confusion. Obinna, my husband, my first love, the father of my children, was gone. Dead. Blood pooled around his head, face frozen mid-expression. Murdered. Before I could breathe, the whispers started. Did you hear? They fought last week. She said she was tired of his cheating. She's always had a temper. The morning after the burial, police came. I sat on a plastic chair outside the compound, feeding Nena mashed yam when they arrived with stern faces and questions that already had answers. I was arrested. Accused of murdering my own husband. No evidence. No investigation. Just talk. Why would I kill him? I asked, choking on my words, but the silence of the room told me, because you are just a woman, and no one will believe you. Obinna's elder brother, Ifani, had always seen me as an outsider. He used my arrest to snatch what remained, our home, the land Obinna had farmed, the small savings we had worked for. 3 days after the burial, while I was released, pending further investigation, I returned home with my children, only to find my belongings tossed into the dirt outside. You cannot stay here, Ifani said without looking at me. You killed him. You've brought shame. Leave before things get worse. I begged. I cried. I clung to my son while carrying Nena on my back. No one spoke for me. Even those who once called me Mwanyani now avoided my eyes. I was dirt to them. That night, I slept with my children under a table in Ogbeat Market. The same place I used to come with Obinna to buy gari and vegetables. That night, my motherhood changed. I wasn't just a wife without a husband. I was a criminal in the eyes of the world. A woman left with nothing but her children and a truth no one cared to hear. We lived like that for years. I washed clothes in people's compounds. Carried sand at building sites. Ikenna stopped school. Nena fell sick often. I couldn't always afford medicine. Some days, I begged in traffic. I was spit on. I was ignored. But I held my children close and swore that one day, the world would know I did not kill my husband. It was Mama Ifeoma who changed everything. She saw me outside her shop, hungry, tired, and desperate. She gave me leftover rice, then soap to wash her wrappers. Then, she taught me to make my own. Start small, she said. Even if you sell to only 2 people a day. I did. I walked from stall to stall with a bucket of wrapped soaps, barefoot and determined. People started calling me Madam Soap. I made my own brand, *****, because my life, my dignity, was mine, no longer controlled by anyone's name or opinion. Years passed. I opened a small kiosk. Then a bigger one. I moved out of the market. I rented a room, then a flat. Ikenna returned to school, and Nena started dancing again, joining a cultural troupe. The light returned to my children's eyes. But even as life started to shine again, I never stopped searching for answers. I visited old police stations, made inquiries, read files in secret. One day, a retired officer, his face drawn and voice raspy, called me. "I remember your case," he said. "The mistress wrote a letter before she died, but it never reached court. She had confessed. She had seen Ifani paying a boy, Namdi, a small-time thief, to teach Obinna a lesson. Obinna had found out about the affair between his brother and the mistress, and threatened to expose them. The attack was meant to scare him. But it went too far. 13 years of silence. 13 years of humiliation. But now I had proof. The New Yam festival was the biggest day in our village. The compound, now renovated with money Ifani claimed was from abroad, was full of guests. Music played. Children ran with balloons. Then my car pulled in. Silence swept through the compound like harmattan wind. I stepped out, wearing a fitted Ankara dress and flat shoes. My son, now taller than me, stepped beside me in a clean shirt. Nena walked gracefully behind me, head high. "Chica," someone whispered. Ifani emerged, his smile fading. I stood before the people who once spat on me. And I said, calmly, "I came to visit my husband's grave. And to tell the truth." I pulled out the envelope. I read the letter. I named the mistress. I named the retired officer who had come forward. I named the boy, Namdi, who had died in prison a year after confessing the truth no one listened to. Ifani collapsed. Police arrived an hour later. They didn't come because I called them that day. They came because I had built my own voice, found the right channels, and this time, I was no longer voiceless. The community was stunned. Some wept. Some apologized. Others watched in shame. I didn't stay in the house I fought to reclaim. I donated it to a foundation I started, *** Obinna's Light, *** a place for women who had been thrown out. For children who had lost everything. For those who needed a second chance, like I once did. People now call me Anonim Kem, not because I am rich. Not because I wear gold or drive big cars. But because I survived. I refused to die. I did not kill my husband. But they almost killed me with their silence. 13 years later, I rose. Not with vengeance. But with truth. And that was enough.